Hi, good evening. How are you? I am finding it harder to make time to find these videos, to make an effort to make these videos for some reason. And because in an inner world, a lot is happening. Like I will be speaking about soul awakening, um, because that's what I spoke in my last video. But since then, a lot has happened because I have undergone a major important initiation um, that I might be talking about next time, but it got me. I was climbing up the mountain, which I normally don't do. Yeah, I was doing it because I was supposed to do something for the equinox transmissions, and later on, I remembered. I found out actually that I was in my burial site at some point in life because I've had many things happening to me then, and since then internally, as usual, many things happen to me internally. So I'm really um, not much into seasonal changes, and I'm really reluctant of letting go of the summer. Um, Although it's not very warm outside anymore, but I don't want to let go of the summer because I want to keep the summer forever. And yeah, I'm just it's honoring the summer. Um, okay, so I was speaking about soul awakening, and I will speak about soul awakening because one of my clients asked me about what is soul awakening. She said she didn't understand the concept, and we had a long discussion about it, and I had a long video about it in Serbian language, which was a sort of emanation through me. And I'm not sure if I can repeat all that because I don't even remember what I said. Because it was like it's a creative process, it's a one-time thing, and it doesn't repeat itself. So I honestly don't remember. I honestly don't remember what I said in it. So I'll do my best to answer that question uh, tonight again. Um, Everything that I've been speaking about in previous videos and everything that I do is actually about soul awakening. Even the latest videos that were speaking about some things that are not so popular are talking about soul awakening. So soul awakening is not a pleasant process. And in spite of what you might have read, and in spite of what people have told you, it is never a pleasant process. And if you have been told that it is, you have been lied to, so that you are being lured into something that, yeah, my camera is doing strange things again, so it's moving around and I'm not moving it as if it's made of liquid. So if this shows when you are watching it, I'm sorry. I mean I've had several different people fixing it, and it got fixed, and it happens again when I use it. So yeah, I'm wondering about many things about that and many things lately, but I don't want to go there at the moment. Anyways, That's one of the things about soul awakening. There are forces that are not all too interested in you um, awakening. What does it really mean to awaken? I mean, what the part that was not clear to my client was she thought that a soul is always awake. So how come we are there is a soul awakening process? Yeah, the soul is awake in the realm where it resides. We cannot take whole energy of our soul with us when we incarnate and when we come to earth. We do not embody entire energy that we are. Soul is huge. Soul is not this body. The body is just a portion of a soul. It does not contain the soul. The soul contains the body. The soul sustains the body. The soul creates the body in many cases. Soul is multidimensional and it does not reside in only one body. It lives in different dimensions, in different realities at the same time because it does not live in linear time. And those bodies can be physical bodies, but they don't have to be physical bodies. They can be different kinds of bodies, different identities with different personalities, but they can also be in some other shape or form that are not maybe not even human bodies. It has many expressions, and sometimes for us it's something that we would call as a hologram. And when we are undergoing a process that we would call a soul awakening, it's sort of a connection to all these other parts of ourselves that we are not normally talking to, where we normally do not have communication to. With some of them, you don't need to have a communication with, and with some of them, at some point, you do because you need to integrate that energy. What does it mean to integrate the energy? You're not integrating it in your body, you're communicating it, you're integrating it in the entirety of your soul. You're becoming, let's say, aware of all the other aspects of you residing in these different spaces. I won't places, yes, but I won't call them places because these are mainly spaces. And sometimes you aren't disconnected to these other parts of yourself. Sometimes they are the energy that you were supposed to embody, that you originally came with, that you decided that you will bring with yourself when you were incarnating in this plane. But something happened along the way. Either you had some difficulty or some trauma, like a past life trauma or a this life trauma. So this energy left you for some reason. So it got sidetracked or it got trapped somewhere or it's just floating around, not being connected to you, but sort of following you around, or some other actors and forces deliberately uh, applied trauma on you or did something so that this portion of your energy leaves you so that you not connect with who you really are and who you truly are, and so that you uh, do not even try to consider to find it and connect with it And even if you do, uh, that you are being misguided or misdirected, or so that you basically have difficulties while you are trying to connect to that portion of you, because they have benefits from you not being connected to this part of yourself. These other forces can be some forces from some past lives and the agreements that you had in past lives. They don't have to be. Depends on how deep you deep. And this is just the story that I started when I said that it's not that awakening is not an always pleasant process, because when you are starting to feel that you should connect with a part of you that you previously did not communicate with, because you're needing something, you're missing something. Usually, when this place, when you have where you have a wound or a scar from the place where you had been um, traumatized, or where something happened previously, whenever that is, and it got healed, or for instance, at some point you didn't need to go there, but maybe there comes a time when your soul starts to send messages to you that it's time for you to start uh, expanding, to start connecting with those parts of you that you previously did not talk. And those scars start becoming active. And in those places where maybe there are no scars, but there were wounds, usually it's the part where your energy is leaving you. And sometimes when this energy leaves you, something else um, connects to you in that place. Sometimes only because it could, and sometimes deliberately, with some intention of, let's not say entrapping you, but preventing you from uh, connecting to who you really are and remembering all of your abilities and gifts and your mission. Mostly remembering your mission, because the part of ourselves that we don't bring with us, the soul that resides in the afterlife, so to speaking. I wouldn't call this afterlife, because it's accessible in different states, and it's not only an afterlife. And when you also leave your body and in an afterlife, you do not necessarily have to go to exactly that place. It depends on many, many different things, because I'm talking about astral realm now, and it's a large realm, and it's not always inhabited with nice places. Uh, and there are different layers and levels of these also good places, where there is no duality and polarity, where soul resides. There are also dimensions and spaces there where the soul is, and it's vast. It's it's not always the same where somebody goes. Um, and depending, uh, well, let's say the level of your development, it that determines your mission. Depending on what you do there, you have certain tasks and abilities. Sometimes, if you're a younger soul, you're coming here to develop. and understand life. And if you have been in existence for quite a while, you have certain tasks and missions that you perform in that realm. And your soul is alive. The soul is always alive and it's eternal. It has identity and it has its own signature. Each and every one of us has a specific signature, which is our identity, which is a certain vibration. It's a vibration that we read as sound and color and geometrical forms mostly. And it's different for everybody. And the way the soul expresses itself, and the way that what soul is what soul does actually, and it's different. And sometimes from that bigger soul, there are smaller aspects, which we call younger souls. Uh, and the way we read those dimensions is quite different. So I can only speak from what my clients have told me and what I've seen a little bit of myself. But this is what I'm telling you is my understanding of it. So who you are in that plane is who you really are, who you actually are. And it's not how you look now, and it's not how you looked in previous lives. And those are just different expressions of this greater being that you are. And this greater being had an intention before coming to this incarnation and the reason of coming to it, which is always different. And it's your remembrance of it is different in different phases of your development of your remembrance. And sometimes it's not, it's a nicer process, and sometimes those things that we are observing and seeing and remembering are not so nice things, especially when you come to a certain level of development and remembrance, when it's time for you, when your soul said, okay, you have had enough rest, now it's time for you to deal with some really serious stuff that you've been avoiding for lifetimes because you didn't have enough time, you didn't have enough resources, you didn't have enough energy, you didn't bring enough energy with you. Um, there were different times, too many obstacles, and maybe you had a different task. But from what I've seen, your task is always the same because it's what your soul does in that plane. This is exactly what you're doing here because you are your soul. You are who your soul is. This is you. It's just a quite larger being than this one in this physical body. So, soul awakening is, in a way, soul embodiment because you are bringing this energy down to the earthly plane, the fullness of the energy, the original blueprint that you have decided in the very beginning that you are going to bring down. And this original blueprint some some ideas of what it should do. It had certain codes, certain vibrations, certain signatures that it had to ground on this plane. And this is usually the reason why I came here. Because those souls can create from this other plane. Souls can do their tasks on this other level. They don't have to always come here. And sometimes they do come only because of that to embody certain vibration that doesn't exist on the earthly plane that maybe once existed but it doesn't exist anymore. And they're repeating this task for as long as it takes. And not only for themselves, but for the others too. Because usually souls are selfless and humble. And I very rarely encounter very big selfishness there, unless it's an important task for a client to learn. And it's not usually selfishness, it's something that we would call selfishness because we let it through our own programs and belief systems. It's self care sometimes. However, not all souls and not all planes, especially astral planes, are clear ones, are good ones, are high vibrational ones, and not souls are pure, in spite of what everybody else told you. It's not written in the books, but sometimes they will mention it in small certain portions in our trainings, and sometimes you do encounter it in your sessions. Because think about it, if all souls were pure, you wouldn't need any sessions of these kind. You wouldn't need any sessions of energy sessions or other therapies that we have around. Would because we would be fully connected to our souls, and they would be walking in a different, maybe this realm would be a different realm. Maybe our bodies would only be light bodies. I don't know. But certainly, with everything we've been observing lately, you can safely say that not all souls are pure souls. Not only that not all souls are not mature ones, it's a different thing. But not all souls are pure souls, and not all souls have creation, creativity, and unity in their mind. And some of the souls have not different kind of creation in their mind, and all of those of their creations cannot create, and they are using us to create, using our energy to create. And this is why all the other things are happening. This is why all the distractions, and this is why we are disconnected to our own energy, because if we would have been connected fully to our full being, if our if we would be in total balance and unity within ourselves, we are very powerful beings like that. And we not only we do create, but we would be on a different level of creation, in a completely different realm. And from what I've seen, that will be like a heaven on earth. Original blueprint, original idea. And I'm telling you something now that I've heard from my clients. I've had sessions with people who had been speaking about it, like original Eden, original heaven on earth. It exists. That was the original uh, creation, the original planet Earth, which was a feminine realm. But when I say a feminine realm, I don't mean I'm not talking about matriarchy. I'm talking about balance, balance of energies, in inner energies and outer energies, balance of our masculine and feminine energies. So I'm not saying that females were ruling the world. I'm saying that male and female energies were in balance, and the males were connected to their female energies inside and feminine side, and they were a different kind of creators and different kind of functionality that we understand now, because these kind of energy doesn't exist in this realm anymore. We have forgotten it. We don't remember it. And we created, some of us, many of us actually around here, are original creators of that energy, of that realm, of that earth. I've seen it in some of my sessions, but I called it another planet, which in essence was another planet. It was a completely different planet. And this realm was without conflict and in unison, because everything was in balance. And when you are in balance and you're in harmony, there is no disharmony. You create with your energy and your thoughts and your vibrations, joint vibrations. But then conquerors came from another universe. I don't know which universe, but from a far, far, far away universe. And they were about uh, destruction. They wanted to inhabit the planet, and this is not the only planet that they did this to. It did many other places in universe. It met many other planets, and some of them were completely destroyed, like blown up. They are, I wouldn't say mind based, because it's not a mind, but they're an energy that functions without, they don't have love inside. And from what I've seen in some of my sessions, I would say uh, they are functioning without mother energy, without nurturing energy, without nurturance in themselves. And they are working with artificial intelligence. They themselves are not artificial intelligence, but they are a minority. Artificial intelligence works for them, and this is how they conquer, because they program it, and they usually program it for destruction. So you basically could not do anything against it, uh, because uh, it's programmed to read some signs as an attack, and it attacks and it destroys. So when one of my clients was describing these beings, my question was, so where is their mother? And their creator is not a feminine energy. It's I wouldn't say masculine energy, but it's an energy that is imbalanced within itself. So it created imbalance by uh, mm, I don't know how to say this. It created imbalance by separating males and females, male and female energies. That doesn't mean that they were, energetically speaking, they would be one being, but physically speaking, they're not one being. And they are about conquer and divide tactics. And they used it with the original creators to conquer by separating initially and destroying females and mm, I'm looking for the right word in English. Not attacking, but um, infiltrating male energy. It infiltrated female energy too, but in a different way. But mainly, they were about destroying. Because when I speak about male and female energies, I'm talking about qualities. I'm not talking about physical energies. I'm talking about qualities that existed in. And when I speak about separation, I speak about energetical separation in the conquer and divide tactic and infiltration too. When I speak about destruction, I speak about physical destruction. And they did it to male energies too, but in different ways. So their tactic was to destroy the original blueprint and weaken you and take away your abilities and your powers and portions of your energy so that they can use it and transfer it to themselves. They do it with the artificial intelligence, which is a very, very advanced technology, like alien technology. And I'm talking about alien beings. How they do it, I don't know. I don't have a clue. Those beings still exist on Earth today. This is the scenario we're seeing being repeated many times, different ways. And when we're speaking about souls, like my clients also said that there are beings, um, like large portion of those beings that we would call humans are not even human and are not don't even exist. They're only there so that some of us think that this reality is real. So what does this really mean? You might have heard many times, and especially in traditional um, methods that are being used and read, I don't know, somewhere that this reality is a dream, is an illusion we're living in. This all material realm is an illusion. So this is what I'm talking about actually. That this reality of souls, and there are other realms where you can also reside, which is not a soul realm, which is an astral realm, uh, lower, lower than the ones where soul is, low, lower astral, and there are higher astrals and different levels. I'm not knowledgeable of all of these levels. I'm just repeating what I've heard from my clients. Um, this is the real reality. This is where we are creating everything from. And actually, all of this that I've just mentioned means that this is our reality, our torus, our energy bodies is a hologram. That this um, timeline is not an organic timeline we are on, but artificial. The timeline of artificial intelligence of a very, very advanced alien civilization that I've just mentioned, technologically advanced. So, what I can tell you from my own memory, this, what I've been speaking about conquerors, is not my own original memory, but this is what I'm going to be saying now. Is when they came, and this, I don't think this happened on Earth. I think it happened on another level, on an astral plane. I've seen a platform where some fights were happening, and when these conquerors came, um, they have sent it looked like a cloud of some insect, really, really tiny. something that looked like insect. But they were not insects. They were artificial intelligence. They were implants, and they would connect your what we call light body. I don't know which body that is. I suppose astral body. Uh, they are artificial programs. They carry artificial intelligence and carry programs, and from your energy, they're projecting the reality for you. So you're on that level. You're kind of paralyzed, and you cannot move. And these holographic images is somewhere in your Taurus, and your Taurus actually, they say your Taurus is your prison, like the apple, like a computer, artificial computer around you. And this is where it presents different timelines and time loops that you go through when you are trying to access your original blueprint, your original memory of who you really are, and what you really do and what you really came here to do. So you're going to different time loops, uh, and they're there in order for you to not find it, not remember it, not take your power back, and not take your energy back. And they're also there to extract your energy from you. I only saw a bit of it. That's all I saw, and I've also heard other therapists speaking about it, having sessions in speaking about something similar. So uh, that means that what happened in some plane, whatever plane that is, astral plane or something, is repeating is in this physical plane. You're sort of it's not, you're now replaying it. It's just it's coming. You're bringing it down. So it manifests in this realm in some way, and it repeats this fight, this battle that happened on this other plane. And when you come to a certain level of development, you start dismantling these artificial programs from you. And this is why you have many different modalities and techniques like this one that I'm using, which now contains in itself various methods and technologies. And I've been learning a lot lately about um, dealing with artificial programs, with implanted memories, which do exist, by the way. And some are your original memories of the lives that you have been living here because you have been put through a loop, and it's a replay. Those lives, as in my case, are usually a replay of all different lives that you've had, not only in this earthly plane, but in other planes. And this, is part of a soul awakening. There are levels and certain layers to it, and it's a process. It's not a one-time process. It can be, but usually it isn't. Because we are not usually very good in doing things when we are very comfortable. We prefer not being comfortable, do something to restore balance when we are in disbalance. Because something needs to tell us that we are not in balance. Because if we don't know balance, if we don't remember it, how can we ever know that we are in this balance? How can we ever know what harmony is if we have forgotten it? And this is what's been going on lately. Yes, it can be different. This is what's happening globally now. We are receiving transmissions of energy, new energy, our own energy, and it's wonderful energy. It's great energy, but it pushes everything old from you, everything that does not serve you anymore to come to the surface. And sometimes you don't want to let it go. This is why I meant that we prefer being in discomfort because we don't want to let go what we're familiar of. It doesn't really matter that sometimes what we're familiar of is pain. It's it's something we know. It's familiar. And sometimes we invested our entire lives in creating something. We created businesses, houses, relationships. We created. I mean, sometimes it's hard to admit to ourselves that we have been creating from a wrong place and that we have not been creating something that actually serves us, but it serves everybody else. Yes. And sometimes we are being so loved. Somebody has been singing us a lullaby all along to lead us astray so that we don't actually ever look for what's really for us because we never even thought until we became really, really uncomfortable that this might not really be good for us. And that along the way, this might have not been really good for whole other people too. Our choices might have stepped on many toes. Because as long as we're comfortable, we're not noticing. Because we're okay. It doesn't really matter who isn't as long as we are, right? It doesn't hurt us until somebody steps on our toes. It doesn't hurt us unless somebody puts a hand in our pocket. So we don't really think whether something is for us. It feels nice. It feels nice and it feels good for our ego. But usually, what our ego wants is not what soul really wants. And sometimes soul will put you through a whole lot of discomfort to tell you that something is out of alignment. You have to notice that something is out of alignment, and maybe it has been sending you messages for a really long time, but you haven't been paying attention because you have put a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of relationships, a lot of thought, convinced a whole lot of people in the role that you play, and you don't want to let it go. The soul doesn't think like ego does. When you come to a session to see me, you want, I don't know, you want something to go away, something to stop. You want somebody to change. You want a relationship. You want some relationship to end and the other ones to start. You want sex. You want money. You want houses. You want the usual stuff that everybody asks for when they go to see any kind of therapist. Usual things. But this is not what soul really wants. Only so far, I only had one session where somebody actually told me, I only want my soul. And another one where somebody told me, I'm looking for my essence. Everything else that I've just mentioned that you come with are just consequences of your choices. And if they were the right choices, if you were wearing shoes that fit, you wouldn't be having blistered, would you? So there's a place where you are out of alignment. There is a place where you have a hole. And that hole It's like a portal where those other things, whether they're beings or thought forms or something, are coming in. Those alien conquerors are coming through some portal, and that portal is in your soul. And it's a hole, it's a wound that has been unattended, and it's a place that starts at some point letting you know that something's wrong. Everything might be okay outside. You might have everything that anybody in this world wants. All the money in the world, good houses, good cars, family, friends, respect, success, girls, whatever you think about that somebody can want in this world, peace. But then you feel like something is off, that something is off. And that off place starts growing, and something is wrong, and you're not feeling okay, and something is aching, and it's aching, and it's you start being depressed, and something is not okay. A place we usually call a dark night of the soul. It's nothing dark about it, actually. Might be dark what you're seeing, that pain through that hole. But it's a place where your soul doesn't hurt. Your body hurts, and because the body is the one that has senses. But through this sensation and a feeling, your soul is telling you that it's out of alignment, that you need to pay attention to something, that something is missing, that maybe you have forgotten about a part of yourself. I don't really know at the moment which part of you that is. Your masculine part of the energy, or your feminine part of the energy, or some part. But usually, from what I've seen globally, collectively, that is going on is what I've just said in the beginning of what these conquerors did, which is the original separation. You know, people are talking about original separation pain. And that's what we're talking about. And this is where the whole usually is after everything that you've done and everything that you have healed in yourself. This is one place that's usually left because this is where we are out of alignment since the beginning of time. And there have been other attempts for us to create and fill this hole and create balance in different ways. And they might have worked so far. And I'm now talking about um, matriarchy and patriarchy and different. But those were imbalanced states again because some of these energies were in a higher position. I won't say in power, but this is what we usually play power games with each other. This is the games that we play with ourselves. These are the games that we play with each other because these are the games that we play with our own energy. This is the place where you are out of alignment with yourself, and this is why it is showing on the outside in this way. Because masculine energies, I don't even think we know how the masculine energy, original masculine energy, actually functions. The masculine energy that is in alignment with its feminine self and functions from this part, the one who is uncorruptible, the one who is not imbalanced and unhealed. And same for the feminine. But lately we're seeing feminine energy rising, and it's mostly showing in females. But I'm not talking again, I'm not talking about physicality and sex around here. This is the kind of energy that males have inside of themselves too. I'm talking about this original separation and whole in the blueprint. Because the original blueprint is different, and I'm talking about divine mother and father energies and alignment. We have been living without divine mother for a really long time. She hasn't been present on earthly plane for a really, really, really long time. And this energy is pushing everything out that is out of alignment and that doesn't serve you anymore. And it's calling you to pay attention to that. So the sooner you pay attention to that, that doesn't hold water, that it's not okay, that it makes you feel like something's not okay, the better. Because if you keep postponing it and putting it under the carpet, it's going to become uglier. Because when you don't fill up yourself with the original waters of divine and of your divine blueprint, something else will. So you will have to deal with that. But that came. Which also means if there is a hole and something can come through this hole, that means that we are much bigger, much larger than that any of the conquerors that could come. And they could only come because we haven't been whole in some places. Maybe these places are so far forgotten and so far away that it takes a bit of time to find it. But with a bit of an effort, you can find it. And maybe there have been layers and layers put in you so that you don't forget that original place where the invaders come in. But with a bit of patience with yourself and the right kind of help, you can find it and you can heal it. And the only thing that you have to do is ban conquerors out of your universe or universes. Because if you are the original creator, you're completely entitled to do that. And it's about your sovereignty. You are the sovereign being. And they actually work for you. If they don't want to work for you, you can get the hell out and be banned from coming back. This is all any of us need to do. I know I'm making it sound simple. It's not as simple as I'm making it sound. I wish it was. That's all it is. We're not claiming our divinity and we're not claiming our entirety of our energy because we don't believe that we are so huge and so powerful because we don't know what we are consisted of and we don't know our part of male and female energies in ourselves. We don't know them. We crave them. And I see it in every client who comes here and wants to do a session on soulmate. We yearn for it, but we don't know it. And you can only be shown it because it's in the vibration. This is why I say that your soul is multidimensional and it expresses itself in more than one body and in more than one energy body, but in more than one physical body too, if you incarnate together. it doesn't depend on your agreement of what you need to do and come here. And usually you think you came here this month, your karma depends on your mission and what you're doing there. And what you're doing there, you are doing here too. You have just forgotten about it. And it's time for you to remember. And this is a soul awakening. We are remembering ourselves. We are remembering our souls. We are remembering our missions. Soul awakening is about you awakening to your mission, your true mission, to which you said you're going to do when you come here. And this is why you have been repeating and repeating and replaying and replaying, because you haven't been doing it fully. Because you got stuck in a role somewhere, intentionally and purposefully, being distracted or not, just being, attached to some part of it. And in order for us to receive this new energy, which is new, not new energy, it's our energy. It's new for us because we don't know it. In order for us to integrate it, which means embody it, we need to dismantle the old, and not the old, but also what is not ours, what is not good for us, what came there to fill the places where we were not whole. So, yeah, this is for me what awakening means, and this is what I see in my clients. And through my own process, people tell me that lately what I've been talking about is a little bit scary. And yes, this process sometimes can be scary. What is scary actually is you remembering it. Because if this is holographic reality, if this is artificial intelligence realm, and you are in a hologram, it is not happening to you again. You are remembering it. And some of us who are the creators can be recreating it or appearing as if we are recreating it and having sensations and physical pains, because this is how it becomes embodied, because we embody, we materialize. But it's not actually hurting you. Nothing is actually really happening. It's you. It's just, you know, something as if you have a sting, something stings you and you have, or a thorn, and then you have to pull it out. So that hurts a little bit. This is what's happening in some of your energy bodies, and this is how you feel it in your physical body. That is my case. For some people, it's different because they're not paying that much attention. When it really becomes physical, when it becomes like a disease, it's an actual shock for your system, and it's an actual direction for you, a direct attempt your soul to tell you that something is really wrong and where you should look for. This is like a place. This is a place in your body where this energy is, where this either memory or something else is, or an implant or something. I know people don't much understand what I mean when I say implant. But it's not, implant is not always an energy that contains some information. It's an artificial intelligence sometimes. It's like ethereal something. I see it as a metal sometimes, something placed in you. It's different for, I can only speak for what I saw in my own energy body. and it needs to be cleared, and it gets cleared. The light clears it. How you pour in the light of your soul in you. Like I say, it's happening to all of us lately because the global energies, the shift that it's happening is doing it to us. But there were other therapies, methods, whether the plant therapies or other treatments that you did it when you connect to your soul. So your light, your own light, your divine light, and the light of divine Mother Father God is dismantling it. And it can hurt. It usually does hurt, but it's not your physical body that hurts. You're only feeling it as a physical. It, it hurts, and then the memory hurts. Your remembrance hurts. It's not really hurting you again. But when it becomes physical, when you have a disease, yes, it's hurting you. But many people are usually not dealing with the diseases in the way they should, because it's showing you that again that you're out of alignment somewhere in your energetic system, and not too many people are treating themselves as an energetic system. They're treating only the body and not dealing with the disease on a quantum level, if you wish. Has many layers in itself again, yeah, but from that quantum level, you're being guided to the next thing that you need to dismantle it, to learn, to understand yourself and remember yourself. And in my case, why I've been speaking about all these scary things, because I've come to the point where I needed to understand why all these things happen and how they happen. When you come to the point when you want to know what happened to you, why it happened, why you made choices that you made, why those choices came to certain consequences, certain things in your life. Did you make those choices on your own, or you were manipulated into making what happened to you and when it happened to you? This is also the soul awakening. These are the questions. It's about the questions that you're asking to understand yourself, or how you came to be where you are and where you want to be from that place and how you're going to get there. So yeah, it's scary sometimes, and yeah, it can get dangerous for some of us, depending on what you do, what your mission is. I'm speaking too much, obviously, so that's why. But for other people, it's not so much. But then again, if you really want to be in your full presence and in your full mission, it's, what else does really matter? That's the only thing that matters to soul. What it needs to do to express who it really is. And when I've been speaking about these replays, I've been replaying things from, like I mentioned, Aldebaran, where I was the queen. I was the queen of the planet. And I've had people in sessions, clients in sessions, who were mentioning those things, like they would know me from somewhere, and they have been mentioning their memories of this place, but I didn't know that then. I only found out about it now. And what has happened is that the conquerors came there too, and I have been made forcefully get married to one of them, and my consent was forcefully taken, and with that I had to give up my powers, and I gave up my powers, and I gave up on the entire portion of the universe there, actually, in order to protect the inhabitants there, and they stayed there. I had to reclaim them back because I was in exile. I was exiled, and I was exiled here. I'm queen in exile here, and possibly in other places, but this is what I remembered so far. And I made an agreement with them by doing this. They will leave the inhabitants alone. So I have also been told before by my clients that this society there is divided, and they do not mingle and communicate. And part of them are like, especially their high priesthood, are performing rituals and dark magic and sacrifices. And part of the deal was that they will not be using these inhabitants for that. They're not, but they are also in exile. Everybody who followed the queen are in exile, whether in that planet or other planets, but they cannot use their abilities there. So they have sent portions of themselves to other planets, including this one, and they're sending their knowledge and talents to those portions. So this is the way how they're performing their missions and duties. So in a sense, this is your higher self, sending it to you, and your higher self is there. One portion of it, one portion of your greater being. And this being is called I think Marduk. This is a being that we would know as Lucifer, but it's not. It's not. That's how we think. That's who we think he is. And he doesn't mind because he likes being powerful. He has sold my abilities to a third party who were not the conquerors. They were just like companies, alien companies and bankers and like stuff like that. Uh, they those well are people on earth that are doing this the same, but that being became really rich and wealthy because he was given some mines of precious metals on another planet. This is how he became rich, by selling off my contract with him. And this is why I've been having problems with those beings, with alien company called Tetra or something like that. And some of the beings that I do not have any karma with, because they work for them, they're sent onto me by other actors who work for them. Some of them were creating loops for me and have been changing realities by either sending me false memories or doing something on some other planes. And all of the actors that I've been mentioning lately in my videos work for this company. Some of them, one of them at least, is a four-dimensional being that can have physical body. They do have physical bodies. They do look human, but they actually in reality are not. Some of them are reptilians, but others who work for this company are not. There are many other forms there. And speaking about, some of them are human souls that have been infiltrated in the past by them before and have made agreements with them, and they're doing it consciously because they have benefits of that. And one of the main actor that I've been mentioning, this woman that I've been mentioning, is the boss of them all. She's working for the company directly, and she's hiring the others, and she's like a bureaucrat for them. She has a farm of human energy, and she created a position for herself where she can do this. And There is more to this. There is a lot more to this, but I think that's enough for now. This is how it works. This is how it works. This is what you are starting to dismantle and discover. This is what they've been calling disclosure. And this is also what a soul awakening is, when you're starting to discover where portions of you went and where portions of you are and how to get them back and what you need to do to get them back and how to dismantle the agreement. And actually, we do have the power to dismantle these agreements because we are under divine sovereignty, and this has all happened without our consent, or with our consent being taken manipulatively and forcefully. So it can be annulled at any moment. It's just that we do not know about it. We have to discover it. And some of us have to work on discovering it a little bit more, because it's a learning process. Not only that you're learning about yourself, but you're learning what you're going to share with others and how you're going to help others. How would you know about it if nobody told you? Where would you know where to look if nobody told you? This might mean nothing to somebody. Some would think that I'm complete nutcase. And for some, this will resonate completely. And most of you who come to see me have something with me, some memory or something with it, either from this place or from other places, or from the things that happened to us on earthly plane, where we have been experiencing memory losses and programming so that we don't remember all this. And we recognize each other from somewhere, but we don't know from where. And this Aldebaran thing for me is a replay of the Orion Wars, and Orion Wars have very many layers in them. I've mentioned one bit of it, but it's the only bit that I've remembered so far. But there is a bit of me being a queen there too. One of them, and confronting another queen who was corruption of some sort. And when I say corrupt and corruption, I don't mean material corruption. I mean like in a soul corruption. And this is what I've been speaking about when I say that not souls are clear, not souls are pure. Some souls are corrupt. So it means they have an addiction in themselves to something, an affiliation to something. And this is why it is possible they possibly also have some hole and some trauma from somewhere else, from some other place. And they have decided to neglect it and to take what seems to be an easier way for them, which carries more what we would call glory and benefits, some benefits. But for soul, those are not benefits. You know, everything I've been looking so far in my past lives, we're talking about torment and sacrifice or self-sacrifice, which is not such a nice scenario, but it's actually been about scheming and plotting and murder, you know, and stealing away of a place of not only abilities but a rightful birth-given place, something that is rightfully yours. And yeah, this means that this is in my soul. It's just that I needed to find out where did it all start. Let me tell you, I certainly, like even a year ago, not to mention 2 or 3 years ago, did not see myself, I could not even envision myself as a queen of something. All, despite of the abilities and everything that I've been telling you. And yes, it's about your um, lineage memory, but not the lineage as we know it, not the ancestry as we know it, as we imagine it, but it as your star origins, and as you of as a soul, as your mission, as who you really are, and what you really do with the entirety of your energy, and why you do it. Maybe you just do it because of the, just, you know, for the sake of the creation, for the fun of having, for the fun of creating. And along the way, you just maybe have stopped creating and stopped using some of your talents. And this is the place I call home in the beginning that starts writing and saying that, there is something, it's like when you wake up in the morning and you had a dream and you're trying and you cannot do, and you just cannot remember that dream. It's like this, there is something, there's deep, deep, I mean, it's not a stone, but it's like a gem that is inside of you, but it's like deep in this all in this pit that you have to dive deep to find it there and bring it out to the surface so that you can polish it and use it again. And sometimes it's a right time for that, sometimes it's not a right time for that. And sometimes it's, for some clients, when we do something like this, it's very, very openly said, it's not the right time for that now. So they receive as much as they can receive there, and it doesn't mean that they are not helped with exactly what they needed for that moment so that they can continue. And this world, this reality up to these conquerors and these artificial intelligence programs and holograms that we are in, an upside down world, is an inverted reality. I mean, I even had a client who said that in a session that when we came to the part with Divine Mother, Mother, Father, God, she said that Divine Father is coming from her feet, and Divine Mother is coming from her head, like from the sun, the central sun, and the central universe sun, whichever that is. And she was a planetary consciousness, as a planetary consciousness, her counsel, or Divine Mother, Father, God. And she said it's always been like that, but we have just forgotten because we're living in an inverted reality. So it's when trauma happens to you, when some conquerors come, whether light years away reality, and then it projects somehow in this reality, your world is upside down, you're living upside down, and something needs to happen. Somebody needs to come in and help you stand up straight. And when you stand up straight, you're up back on your feet, you can actually start walking again and observing the world around you differently and creating it differently and absorbing it differently and doing something differently. And eventually you will come to that place where the initial inversion happened so that you can do something about it. Um, And yeah, most of us, for most of us, it's the place where we got separated by divine, our divine masculine and divine feminine got separated and either abducted, but infiltrated and inverted and changed, so that they completely forget first about themselves, their own selves, and then about one another. Which is, I mean, it's when you say one another, it's the same energy, it's the same energetic imprint. It's not like two souls I'm talking about who are supposed to come together. It's one soul. They're just expressing itself as a male and female. And this energy uh, stopped being complementary. And, we started looking at some, like pieces of the puzzle. They cannot come together, or maybe they come together for something, it's not right, but you just pushed it back, so that it just gets back. But you wanted it to be so. You thought it felt nice, it felt good, and you wanted to make it so, but it's not in the right place. It's never been in the right place. And now are the times that everything is telling us that we should be in our rightful places and remove everything that is not in its original place. And I'm trying to speak about this through my divine masculine energy, which is not really, it's, it's this energy. This is Arya. It's a dragon. It's orgonite, and it's made by a friend. And in USA, I will leave them contact there if you're interested in having your own dragon. But this, it came like a crystalline dragon to help me, masculine energy to help me um, integrate this part of me in me. So in a way, this has been speaking through me about this. And I hope I explained it well. And I'm thinking, is there anything else that I needed to say? Because I discovered many things along the way. And I believe that everything that we're doing now, everything that is happening now is actually about this balance in mm, divine masculine and feminine energy that we need to put, put in place, put in harmony and in balance and in unity again, and pull out the weed that it's uh, stopping it from doing it. So, and this weed can be a little bit more stubborn than some other, but softly speaking, this is what's been going on lately. At least this is how I translate it. This is how my brain translates it. And this is my best attempt to translate it to you. And although I've been tried to be convinced differently, I discovered, and I've been told this before, but I think it resonates with me. It feels right. It sits right with me. That I've never been in any of my existence in this plane and other planes. I've never been a male, and I was wondering why. And I was trying to discover some lives where I've been a male, but I haven't. And there was one lately that told me like that about this tomb that I was, but it was not true, because what I saw in my dream was something else, something different. And I was in this tomb, and I needed to go there and take something of mine and complete. And this is because my divine masculine energy incarnates. It's active. And I believe this is actually the same case for everybody of us. It's just that we haven't gotten this far through dimensions to actually um, discover this. Yes, souls incarnate as male and female, and through different incarnations, you can be both. But in my case, I was always a female because I was always carrying this divine feminine code, goddess code, and I was attempting to embody it as I'm doing it now. And I'm walking the path of feminine Christ, which I have been doing before, and I have been a priestess on other planes, high priestess, and my counterpart has been a teacher and a priest of the same energy, and this is why we don't need to learn this lesson um, by incarnating in different bodies because we carry this blueprint together, and it's just that there have been other actors, and distractions. Is there anything else that the dragon has to tell you? I've been talking, trying to make my talks short, and they're longer and longer. But this is because it takes me time to get myself to actually sit down and create these videos, and I'm really hoping this is going to change. But something is going to change because uh, I'm feeling that I'm embodying something different for this practice that I have, and I still don't know it fully. And but in the meantime, this is all from me, from us, and yeah, you can always come for a session or call me for a session because I've done some sessions uh, online, very few because of the given circumstances. But if you're really far away and you are feeling connection with me and you are feeling there is something that you can gain from me, uh, and by all means we can arrange something, and there is a reason for it, for sure. So yeah, let's work on it together and discover it. And thank you very much for your patience and following and listening, because I'm really doing my best to translate this for you, and this is why it takes a bit of time, because I'm actually translating my soul in another language that is the language of my soul, and then this uh, my mother language, and then into English. So this is why it takes time. So thank you for your understanding.